Good afternoon. Today I'd like to talk about the National Coordinator selection that's going on currently in the Mind's Eye Society. First, by way of introduction, my name's Tim Clancy. I'm one of the candidates running. Many people know me, but many do not, so I thought I'd put a name to a face. Part of my purpose today is that I understand that not everyone reads these giant documents that go across the lists and all the Q&A. Sometimes video is a little easier, so I'm hoping to introduce myself today, a little bit about my plan, but also give further follow-up video responses to the Q&A as it comes up, so you can get this information by video or over the email lists for this important selection coming up. Again, like, share, and follow. We have a Facebook group for this discussion of what I'm proposing. Those links are below, along with the core information, my application, vision, resume, frequently asked questions. All those are in the comments below this video. So what's our opportunity? Well, I first joined the club in 1993, 1 year after it started, and we're approaching our 30th anniversary in 2022. So as we approach it, ask yourself, how is the club doing? And I don't think you'd be surprised if people were kind of a little iffy on where the club is and where it's going. We've spent the last couple years doing a really good effort fixing our broken stairs, but I don't think we're done by any measure, although we've made some great progress. But it often feels like our culture is at conflict with ourselves. You know, we're quick to anger, quick to distrust, which is understandable given that what we've experienced with these broken stairs. It's a perfectly understandable reaction, but we also have an outdated org model. The club is very similar to how it was in the 1990s as it is now, and I'm not necessarily sure that that's the best organization style for the 21st century. Well, you put all three of these together, and what happens? We burn through new members, we burn through players, we burn through volunteers, we burn through officers. We are a club that churns through the energy and talent that we could be using to do great things and kind of makes people miserable. So my application is to really force a discussion around this and point out it doesn't have to be this way. I am not talking about incremental fixes at the margins or the side. My proposal for NC is a fairly radical proposal, but it's aimed at fundamentally changing this situation and fixing where we are now. In the first year, first of all, I think we've become habituated to how things are, and we tend not to believe we can be better. We tend to look back and fall into the same patterns we always have. So one of the first things I want to do is show that we as a club can be better for our own members in a way that we can all look at and say, yeah, that right there, that's an amazing thing we did, not related to any game, not related to an outside charity, but a charity for our members. And I'm talking about fundraising for education and hardship relief. Now, I know we do that already to some degree, but I'm talking an order of magnitude more and making this like a permanent endowment. Because whether you join the club at 19 or you're approaching 45 like myself, or maybe in years we're in our 60s or 70s, we all as adults are growing and changing, and we're always trying to learn from education. And unfortunately, life throws hardship at us. And I think the club can help in those regards and show that, hey, this club, this society, this means something a little more than just the games, and we can help ourselves as gamers. Part of it, though, I think we have to fundamentally restructure the club. So within the first year, probably within the first 6 months, I'm going to propose a referendum. And it's a very simple question. Do we want to consider restructuring? And it's a yes and a no. And if it's a no, referendum over, that's the end of that. But if the answer is yes to that referendum, just to consider it, that will instruct the national coordinator, national storyteller to work together to come up with a restructuring plan. But it will also solicit plans. I don't want just one plan. I want many plans, because that's the best way to get out the ideas of what can we do when we talk about restructuring a club? What would that plan look like? And then 6 months after the first referendum would be a second referendum. This would be, again, only if the first one passed. We would create these plans, debate them, discuss them, hash them around. But then the second referendum would say, do any of these plans appeal to us, and do we agree to restructure? And if so, which plan do we wish to follow? So the second referendum is really about picking a plan for how we want to fundamentally change our club for the future. What would I propose in a plan? Well, there's a lot of things. If you go to the link below, there's a spreadsheet there with fundamental topics and key questions. These are the core of what I think we need to get at. But just three for a high level. I think the most controversial thing, and what's going to become most known for this application, is I'm proposing we stand down Chronicle Play after the current Chronicles end and only if these 2 referendums pass. But I think we need to pause Chronicle play for 3 years. The Chronicle is our strength, it's our connective tissue, but it's also what takes all of our energy. As volunteers, we can only ever focus on the first, second, maybe third thing, and whatever's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, it gets put to the side. Well, when we're running these Chronicles, it takes a tremendous amount of energy. It creates its own conflict and consternation, and it makes it incapable to solve some of these problems. So I'm not saying we wouldn't play any games at all. Again, if you go to the fact below, the frequently asked question, I describe a lot of what we could do. One-shots, experimental plays, testing using role-playing and LARP to build capabilities. There's a lot we could do that would be gaming during this time, but I'm just saying let's stand down the Chronicle play. Another fundamental question, maybe we should convert from open membership to selective membership. When we talk about culture and where we want to be and who we want to be, it comes down to behaviors. And if we just allow anyone to join with the swipe of a credit card, well, how are we then managing them once we get in? Maybe we want to look at and become selective in membership. Finally, let's redesign this org model. Let's make it for the 21st century and recognize it's a completely different landscape, different technologies, different environments than when it started. Now, again, this isn't the only 3 things I'm proposing, but these are the kinds of fundamental questions I think we need to be talking about. Now, a lot of people ask me, why are you doing this? Why are you asking me to do this? And all I'm saying is we in a LARP dress up, go to an event, take on personas where we get to role play the chance of facing important crises and dramatic events to make actions that are meaningful in a fictional world. All I'm asking is to do that in the real world. Take on that persona of yourself to go and help make dramatic actions in this, facing these problems, and let's make decisions that are meaningful. It's kind of like, what we're pretending to be in conventions and at games. Let's do that for ourselves. Let's make our voices heard, and let's make something better than what we have. Now, a lot of people are worried we'd lose a lot of members. So if you're a current member, but you're willing to make that choice and commit for 3 years, make yourself heard, right? Indicate that you're willing to stay on and do the hard work that's necessary to get this club not only on its right footing, but also on its right footing for the 60th anniversary, for 30 years from now. And if you're a previous member and this appeals to you or this interests you, let them know that you might return. Yes, we are probably going to lose members if we do this, but it doesn't mean we need to lose all the members. If members come back, if members stay, I think we can get through this. So again, my name's Tim Clancy. I'm in the consideration for National Coordinator. This is my proposal. Like, share, follow, and join the Facebook group for discussion. Links below in the video for all the documents I've talked about. Thank you and have a good day.